Hey, everybody. You know what time it is? That's right. Unfortunately, it's time for another top 10 worst stuff list with the best in the worst, the best of the worst. It's the best of worst top 10 worst stuffs in all of Tarnation. And I'm so mega serious about this. I am your proud host for another introspective, revealing, enlightening edition of what People magazine has called the sexiest top 10 worst of list of the year 2025. My name is Dan Druff, and I'll be your host for this intrepid endeavor. Together, I think we shall stroll on the uncharted, unbeaten paths of the undiscovered country. Together! I mean it! I don't really mean it. Woo, woo. So, I envy you out there because I'm serious here. This could very well be the best, not just for this show, but for all top 10 worst of lists in history. I think this is a first ballot Hall of Famer top 10 worst of topic. Top 10 worst things that are better than the song Brown Eyed Girl. We all know that evil, impudent, malignant, greed-addled monster, selfish pig, Van Morrison. Or those of us who don't know should know. Basically, here's the guy who, pretty much is probably best known for something that is sort of an unrecognized feature. Van Morrison is the guy that Bruce Springsteen patterned his entire career after. And just added a little bit of zestiness, a little bit of verve, a little bit of enthusiasm. Now, Van Morrison does the same stuff that Bruce Springsteen does, for the most part, except Bruce Springsteen panders more to the brain dead elements, facets, aspects of our society. That's why he's so popular. Than Van Morrison. Van Morrison, for a brief amount of time had poetic elements to what he was doing. Whereas Bruce Springsteen is just, like blood and guts. Grab both hands on, stretch your hands across my engines type of guy. But Van Morrison is irritating, isn't he? And the song Brown Eyed Girl is probably just it's just the most repulsive song ever. And the thing that's really bad about Brown Eyed Girl is that it's ubiquitous. It's like everywhere. There's so many versions of it. It's such a nothing song. It does nothing. It says nothing. It's just like, you can't even tell what the lyrics are. I don't know, it's 17. Stirred up a feeling. Oh, first time with you. Arrow. Do. Jamming used to say sha la 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 la. It's like, was it Despacito? Is that the song that Justin Bieber did in Spanish language? It's like, and Psy from Gangnam Style, like songs like that are popularized on radio because they have zero intellectual content. Despacito, it's because it's in a language that most people listening to American radio don't know. And especially the stations iHeartRadio stations that would spin that stuff are basically like, suburbanite white jerk offs who've uh, lost their moral center and decided to phone in the rest of their lives at some point. I don't know, necessity. Probably they're just too scared to face reality anymore. So they turn on the radio, Despacito plays, and he's speaking Spanish, and it's, you know, they've never, pranced outside the lines in their lives, and so it's just meaningless to them. And that's why they get heavy rotation spin, so many of these songs. But Brown Eyed Girl is like the template for songs that have no intellectual content whatsoever. And most of it is because you can't comprehend a single goddamn word that he's saying. And then a lot of his la-las and stuff. Brown Eyed Girl, I mean, like, wow. What a an insatiable intellectual curiosity Van Morrison guy's got. So, I mean, over the years, I've come to hate Brown Eyed Girl because it's everywhere. They've got music versions of it in elevators, on escalators, and shopping center. Neiman Marcus. Every time I go into Neiman Marcus, they're playing Brown Eyed Girl. Every goddamn time. I've only been in Neiman Marcus probably twice in my lifetime, but anyway, you know what I'm saying. Brown Eyed Girl is everywhere, and it should be nowhere. I don't know, there you go. But it's, hey, look, I gotta admit that Van Morrison, again, I mean that. Bruce Springsteen just took Van Morrison's gig and, spiced it up with some white trash subject matter. And, everybody says, those early albums of Springsteen are like Dylan and stuff like that. I'm not hearing it. It's gobbledygook, blinded by the light, wrapped up like a deuce or another. It's like, what? It has no relevance to anything. It's just a bunch of word salad like Paul McCartney. Where it's just, like completely useless. Or more is Paul Simon. Bruce Springsteen is the Paul Simon and Van Morrison combined in the early days. And now after, in Born to Run, he sort of morphed into this just like, co-opting the lowest common denominator as his own, wheelhouse. So anyway, that's the top. I think I've gone into enough. So just get on with it, shall I? Oh, wait, no, before we go, we got, commercial sponsors and things like that, because the things are just so, it's rolling in the jack over here at Top 10 Worst Stuff. We haven't had, it's been close to 15 episodes now where we haven't had a single view for any of the videos. So, obviously they put the kibosh on yours truly over here. Anyway, but we still have commercial sponsors that, if you'll allow me to indulge. Coming soon to the USA Network. It's from the producers of the Miss Universe competition. It's the Miss Parallel Universe competition of a bunch of freaky interdimensional creatures that transport themselves back and forth in between interdimensional travel and multiverses and all that kind of good stuff. And it's based on quality of character, not on looks. It's the Miss Parallel Universe competition, you freaks. And then Close Encounters of the Third Input, coming soon to a major motion picture indoctrination center near you. From the producers of Close Encounters of the Third Input. Close Encounters of the Third Input. Fill in the blanks where you will, you lousy, stupid lemming. Montezuma's Revenge of the Nerds, coming soon to a major motion picture. Ogre just died. The guy who played Ogre, that guy was hilarious. I'm Ogre. Hilarious. The rest of the stuff is so dumb. This whole thing is dumb. I got a lot of dumb things to say and do. Now, a lot of people have been coming to me like, that none of this, all these lists are just me just riffing, and I've got like an amazingly fertile mind capable of all this improv and just extemporaneously putting these lists out there as I record these things. This is not true. Whatever rumors you've been hearing about me, they're not true. I am just like completely out there, but I don't have the mental facility to be able to come up with the stuff off the top of my head. I am reading these lists. These lists were put together by a team of former dental hygienists who gathered together with me out in front of the Gibson Steakhouse in the Gold Coast area of Chicago and take copious doses of Chemical X that Dr. Neutronium used to create the Powerpuff Girls, mixed with strychnine in order to become these lists. So let's have at it, shall we? Top 10 worst things that are better than the song Brown Eyed Girl. I mean, it's like... Wait, I better check and make sure. Oh, yeah. All right, so I was just about to say a joke that was going to take the stuffing out of my own list. So, number 10, top 10 worst things that are better than the song Brown Eyed Girl. The extinguishing of all life on planet Earth. Better. By far, I would rather have a giant dinosaur killing level comet just plow, I don't care, plow right into my face. Or it could be plow on the other side of the earth and I was one of the last to die. I'd rather, have, what do they call that thing, nuclear winter or whatever, when the comet hits and all the dust goes into the atmosphere and everything that blocks out the sun, and we all slowly freeze and starve to death. I would rather go through that than hear the song Brown Eyed Girl. And I don't think I'm alone. Number 9, the top 10 worst things are better than the song Brown Eyed Girl. How you doing out there? You listen to K103. The AI robots are brought online, take all our jobs, and enslave the human race. Having that scenario, which is any minute now, basically. Uh-oh. It's the AI cybernetic robots. I'll be there in a minute. I need to put on some pants. Who out there, let's be honest with you. First of all, there's probably nobody watching this. I can't imagine anybody would ever watch this, even if they were allowed to have access to it. But by show of hands, who out there thinks that they're going to be in the first wave when they start culling the human herd? Just me? Come on. Got to be some more you red flagged for first ballot cattle car reservations. Number 8 of the top 10 worst things that are better than the song Brown Eyed Girl. Being forced to watch Steven Spielberg movies on an infinite loop. Can you imagine the horror of it? You sit there stuck watching Always and 1941. I mean, it was everything. It's just so, eventually you become like, hi, I need a glass of milk and I need a sausage sandwich. You'd be like the most white bread, sterilized, brainless infant. Steven Spielberg, what a clown, what a jerk off, what a sellout. I wish I just 1 minute in a room with Steven Spielberg. I'd give him the old one too. What was it? Steven Spielberg, what do you think of that? Oh, you didn't think that was coming? The uppercut. The uppercut always works with racist white power, surreptitious white power directors like Steven Spielberg, the Coen brothers, Peter Jackson. Who else is on my list? Oh, Martin Scorsese. The worst of them all. God, Martin Scorsese. Come here, Scorsese. Have just 1 minute with him. Going one-on-one, you frickin' sellout. white power jerk off. Oh, it was the uppercut again. Didn't you see my fight with Spielberg? Oh, fight's over. 20 seconds in on the first round. Scorsese goes down and out on the canvas. That one is for frickin' Sugar Ray Robinson and how you depicted him in frickin' your racist masterpiece, Raging Bull. You scum-sucking vermin. If you're out there, man, I pray to God that somebody shows this to you so that you can finally get a sense of what a horrible monster that you are. I see you, frickin' Martin Scorsese, you rotten pig. Sellout, frickin' racist nobody. Scorsese. Oh, I think I'll show a bunch of movies that glamorize criminality and thugs and murder and make it look cutesy and drug addiction so that a bunch of people will become criminals. That's my job. That's his job. He's not creating movies for entertainment. It's creating indoctrinational pieces like frickin' modern day Leni Riefenstahl. Every movie that Martin Scorsese has ever done should be renamed Triumph of the Will Part 2. The Adventure Begins. Part 3. Mean Streets. Triumph of the Will Part 2. What was next on the Taxi Driver? Triumph of the Will Part 3. It's all sequels to the movie Triumph of the Will. Martin Scorsese. I see you, Martin Scorsese. God damn you, stupid, sellout, racist, nobody. You might have all the rest of them fooled, but not this guy. Oh, I oughta. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The left hook. You were looking for the uppercut, and I picked you up. The winner is still champion, Al DePantiu, or whatever the hell I'm calling myself in this episode. Screw these frickin' racist bums. God damn, any other society at large, people like that would be kicked out on their asses, kicked to the curb, into the sewage pile, and the dumpster juice in the back of Bennigan's. Do they still have Bennigan's? TGI Fridays. Rub Martin Scorsese's face off, completely off, on that gravelly looking, what do they call that stuff they use for like roads and whatnot? They get the black stuff and it's all mini rocks and whatnot. She's just rub Martin Scorsese's face clean off of his skull, grinding it into that stuff that I can't think of what the name is of it. It's not gravel. It's like they make roads out of this stuff. Jesus Christ, now I gotta look it up. See what you've done? All you rotten bastards going out to pay money to see Martin Scorsese make Sugar Ray Robinson look like a demented demon. Sugar Ray Robinson's the one who should have a freaking movie made after him, not freaking Jake LaMotta, you rotten scum-sucking asphalt. I think it's asphalt. It's not my asphalt. Wrecked him, we nearly killed him. Asphalt. What does asphalt look like? Material for paving roads. That's good. Asphalt paving in your area? No, thank you. No, not really. I just want to know what it is. What it looks like. God damn. Oh, yeah. What it looks like. That'll do it. Images. Local pavement. That's it. Asphalt. Rub Martin Scorsese's face off on asphalt. Hot asphalt. It's too good for Martin Scorsese. You need something even worse. I'm going to come up with a torture for Martin Scorsese. Have him eat at Taco Bell? Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's somewhere between rubbing his face off on hot asphalt or having him eat at Taco Bell. Number 7 of the, where was I? Top 10 worst things that are better than the song Brown Eyed Girl. A world where the Disney Corporation controls all culture. Now, we're pretty damn close to the Disney Corporation controlling all culture, and that means plenty more Hannah Montanas. And what's the other lady with the thing? They're going to have a lot of those, and That's So Raven. That's So Raven. Tune in for another That's So Raven, where Raven breathes consecutively every 8 seconds for 30 minutes. Oh, yeah. Lizzie McGuire and Jonas Brothers and all kinds of other dumb stuff. And then you take a tour of Disneyland where everything's a bunch of representations of movies so that when you exit the rides, you can have a gift shop themed around the specific movie that the ride was based off of. How fun. Let's go to Toy Story Land and Cars Land and the Frozen ride and Star Wars rides and double dabba dooba dabba dooba doo. It's Disney Corporation controls all culture. So horrible. And, it's not, I think that all that woke stuff that they're doing and everything like that, and everybody was complaining about it, saying like, oh, you go woke or go broke. That's such bull dank. I mean, I can list, 20 different companies just from Trump alone that have gone broke and bankrupt because of Trump. Even, how the hell do you bankrupt a freaking casino? I mean, every single game in that goddamn place is designed specifically to rip people off. How do you bankrupt one? It doesn't make any sense. But you've got Trump Steaks, you've got Trump University, you got these Trump phones that got an American flag that's all disfigured and stuff like that. And made in China, all the merchandise, everything made in China, everything like that. Trump wines, it's been Trump wines. Every single one of them. So, I mean, how did you explain go woke, go broke when you got every single one of these companies that Trump bankrupted? But anyway, so, I mean, they're making those movies not because they believe in self-expression and being honest with yourself, finding out who you are and being true to that and everything like that, and being aware of the historical background of what things are above and beyond the liturgy of that they've made up propaganda-wise, like George Washington chopped down the cherry tree, saying that I can't tell a lie. Well, that story is a lie. So the story about not lying being a virtue is in itself a lie. Not lying. Yeah. God damn it! It's the Disneyfication of each and every one of us. And of course they got the most obnoxious actor to do the Snow White thing. Of course they did. What was the whole point? The whole point wasn't to make a successful movie. It was to irritate the hell out of the right-wingers so they go out and vote for Trump in 2024. Are you not getting it yet? I mean, this is not inadvertent. In the Lightyear movie, who the hell designed that? Buzz Lightyear was a cutesy sort of ephemeral character, act like a dummy, believing the packaging and just to create merchandise, really, is all it really ever was. So people would go out and buy a bunch of Buzz Lightyear dolls, things like that. But the fact is that it had an idiom of, sort of goofiness, slapsticky type of stuff, and then they make a standalone movie, Lightyear, and they change the character, and they have a bunch of women getting married and all that kind of stuff that would intentionally offend right-wingers, and nothing else. There's nothing to do with entertainment. There's no way that anybody would greenlight a movie like Lightyear or what they did when they've got the super popular character they're making tons and tons of money off of, and then they all of a sudden they create this just weird sort of it was reinvented the character. If you're going to do a brand new character and a whole new liturgy that has nothing to do with the themes that made the character popular, just call it another character. It's just crazy, but it's all done intentionally. It's all part of the fix. It's the third-party outsourced propaganda ministry that I talk about on this unwatched, unviewable video efforts all the freaking time. It's that, the PSYOPs pros underneath the basement of the sub-basement of the NSA who come up with all these battle plans to try to indoctrinate people and social engineering, social Darwinism, all different types of things that they design in order to be able to indoctrinate us into being a bunch of brainless, obedient drones, and they put it out there not through a propaganda ministry of their own, but through an outsourced third party corporation that's already on the same page. They're giving over tons and tons of money to the political parties anyway already. So there's literally no difference between the political party mouthpieces and puppets and these people in these giant corporations who are giving over all their money to make sure that they get elected and they pay off their media outlets so that they don't actually report real news. And then they create these indoctrinational pieces, propaganda pieces disguised as entertainment. And since they are technically separate companies than the government itself and not in house propaganda ministry, we think, oh, this can't be propaganda. This is, unrelated. This is a separate company. They would never do that to us. People in private industry would never do indoctrinational things in order to make sure that we're, lemmings diving off the end of the cliff together. Yeah, but it does. That is how it works. Number 6 in the top 10 worst things that are better than listening to the song Brown Eyed Girl. Okay, the worst, most obnoxious song ever with absolutely no meaning. What you just because you can't comprehend what the guy's saying. You kind of get the impression that he likes the Brown Eyed Girl, but it's not explicit. I mean, as far as we know, he might hate the Brown Eyed Girl, right? He's going about it, there we go, and so first it, and he's singing like la 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 la, whatever the hell it is. I'm getting actually mixed up. I was doing Caravan, the la la la's from the song Caravan, the Van Morrison song Caravan, instead of the la la la's from Brown Eyed Girl. See what I have to, what I have to live with here in this world when you actually pay attention to stuff. It's a goddamn pain in the ass. La 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 la, and then the Brown Eyed Girl is a la 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 la, all super obnoxious. Number 6, in the movie The Planet of the Apes, they have this big reveal at the end where Chuck Heston finds the Statue of Liberty and realizes he's on planet Earth. But, where does he think he was when all the apes were speaking English the whole damn time? Like, did he not at any point say, like, how are these guys, yes, you have the initial culture shock of hearing apes talk, as being, prejudiced and bigoted, ultra racist NRA member, pry my gun out of my cold dead hands, Chuck Heston would normally think. This is a guy who used to tell a story all the time, talk shows, and I think maybe even in, it wasn't Mac and Me, who's a guy with the thing, and he went around and gotcha interview with Charlton Heston, not Michael McDonald, he's the Doobie Brothers guy, the Michael Moore did that movie. He did a gotcha interview with Charlton Heston, which is kind of low, sort of thing. Chuck Heston was old. Not that he didn't deserve it. If there's a pig who deserved being humiliated on a national forum, he would be one of them, certainly. But he was also a guy back in his early life. I think he marched with Martin Luther King or something like that. He was at the March on Washington, I think, and he put up some money for that. So this is a guy who, whatever, maybe became disillusioned, maybe, somebody porked his wife, or who knows what happened to Charlton Heston, man. But he used to tell the story about the set of Planet of the Apes, and he told it all the time. And he thought it was like this big, insightful reveal. He said, well, we were having lunch at the set of Planet of the Apes. All the orangutan actors sat with the orangutans. All of the chimpanzees sat with the chimpanzees. And all of the gorillas sat with the gorillas. And he thought that this was some sort of realization about the nature of race relations. That's just how sick this guy was. Where he was trying to prove that because orangutan actors sat with orangutans, they all sat with actors from their own character delineations in Planet of the Apes, that this proved that segregation is the natural way of things. And I'm serious. He tells the story all the time. Johnny Carson, loads and loads of times. Maybe more than just Johnny Carson. But he did. I've heard him tell it on at least 2 occasions, probably 3. But the fact of the matter is that this guy was that nuts. Totally co-opting, just like every other politician, political person, everything like that, is co-opting a fake, false, delusional interpretation of reality and using it to try to win political points. But the real thing that was going on the set of Planet of the Apes had nothing to do with, proving that segregation is the natural order of things. Because the reason why orangutans sat with orangutans and gorillas sat with gorillas and chimpanzees sat with chimpanzees at the lunch tables is because that's how they were grouped in the movie. They were all grouped together, like in the scenes that they needed extras. All the gorilla characters were in the gorilla scenes, and then when they had the Senate meetings or the organization or whatever it was, the Planet of the Apes, I don't remember what the political situation was, but they would all sit together, grouped by great ape type. Great ape, Beasley. Sorry. And so these are all extras on a movie set. And basically how movies work, which Charlton Heston should have known, is that you film for 2 minutes and you wait for 2 hours. And you're lucky if it's only 2 hours. So you're sitting around with all the extras mulling around, talking to everybody. And because of the proximity of the way they had them delineated in the movie is why they all became friends with people who were the same species of ape, because that's how they were grouped in all their scenes. Especially the gorillas. The gorillas were doing all those warlike scenes and everything like that. So all the gorilla extras would be involved in the scenes together, and the chimpanzee apes weren't even probably on call that day. So of course, if you're waiting for 2-3 hours in between takes for your grouping, and you're in that movie, you're being filmed with other extras from that species of ape, then you're going to hang out with them at lunch. What is this? This shouldn't be any great mystery, but for Charlton Heston, it was as inscrutable as it gets. And he used it to try to prove a political point, and that's how racists work. They'll do anything that they can to espouse their absolutes about racism and religiosity and all kinds of different things that help them justify the prejudice that arises from their darkness, from their damaged goods, from when daddy touched them, or mommy didn't give them enough time at the teat, or who knows what, or they didn't get picked for the softball team in the schoolyard during the 4th grade pickup game. Who knows where this damage comes from? But goddamn, enough's enough. All of us have unfortunately become victims of Van Morrison and the Van Morrison culture, which apparently allows the most obnoxious things on earth to be popularized so that we all become damaged by it. Who the hell knows what the hell is damaging people like, Charlton Heston to believe that, it's absolutely freaking nuts. People are standing around all day in the grouping of their ape type because that's how they were filmed in the movie. That's why they're sitting at the lunch table with chimpanzees all around the same table and so on and so forth. Stupid, nutty, wacky douchebag. But getting back to my point at number 6 here, why did he think, what does the Charlton Heston character in the movie think when he sees, once the, initial shock of seeing an ape talk settles in, why they're speaking English? Does he think that English just sprouted up organically at every planet in the whole goddamn movie? It's like the freaking Transformers come from, I don't know, some Obedius Prime or whatever planet they came from and stuff like that. And the only two things that they can turn into are giant robots and 1980s vintage American muscle cars. And apparently out there a million universes away from us, they're into American metal. What? So, oh, here I am. I'm Autonomous Prime, or whatever. Oh, I'm walking around, giant robot, and then I'm threatened, and oh my god, and it turns into a Camaro. Like, how did they know in Beetlejuice, Omicron Persei 8, whatever the hell, a star system a million light years away, what a Camaro even was? And it's, and then Charlton Heston at the end's going, you damn dirty apes, you ruined it all, you best. Why didn't you say that when they spoke English? He's like, the dumbness, the dumbitude of the overall dumminess is unparalleled. Number 5 of the top 10 worst things that are better than the song Brown Eyed Girl. 9 million people die each year from starvation-related causes. Okay, so, I don't mean to drop that on you like that. 500,000 Americans die from cigarette-related causes when they're jacking up the ferocity of the nicotine drug with other additional chemicals that they add into the mix and stuff. And 500,000 Americans die from cigarette-related causes. But 9 million people, that's 23,000 people a day, which means that every single news program of every day in every year, the lead story should be 23,000 people died today of starvation-related causes, especially in a country where we throw away 30% of the food that we manufacture for ourselves. It's sickness and indifference. I don't know if it's indifference, really. It seems to be more like attraction to a detachment, a compulsion for denial. I just don't know, man. But it's certainly better than the song Brown Eyed Girl. Oh, where am I? Hello. Number 4. The things that are better than the song. Top 10 worst things that are better than the song Brown Eyed Girl. This is a little bit sick, I guess. Everything I do is sick, but it doesn't matter. Nobody's allowed to see this. So what's the point? They put safety nets around the sides of the Foxconn sweatshop factories in the Pacific Rim countries to catch people that are jumping off the rooftops because committing suicide is better to them than having to work another minute in the Foxconn sweatshops. They have suicide netting around these because tons of people were jumping off the roof. It is so. And everybody who's got, an Apple phone is part of that, man. They're part of that. And you think that, you look at your phone and you kind of go like, this is a phone. This is my rifle. This is my gun. This is for killing. This is for killing sweatshop workers. I think they eat off of communal gruel tube. You just pass the tube around, you suck a little of your gruel off the communal food tube, and that's it for the day. That's all you get. And I think that they're changed to work dust. They used to be. Abhorrent working conditions. Then, the people from frickin' Nike come out and they have Hollywood make a movie to make them look like heroes with Ben Affleck and Chris Tucker and Viola Davis. And it's a cavalcade of stars, really, truly. But anything's better than freaking Brown Eyed Girl, I'll give you that. Number 3 of the top 10 worst things that are better than the song Brown Eyed Girl. Getting your salad tossed by Miley Cyrus. Ooh, see? Into every darkness a little light must shine. I think that's true. Uh, Getting a rim job from Miley Cyrus, that's gotta be I mean, that's gotta go right on the bucket list right now. I'm gonna put this. Where's my bucket list? God damn it! Note to self: put bucket list within uh, earshot. All right, number 2 of the top 10 worst things that are better than the song Brown Eyed Girl. Knowing that Universal stored the master tapes for thousands of classic albums in such a compromised and careless fashion that they all burnt up in a fire. Was that? I talked about this recently. I don't think it was this episode. I think it was the previous episode. But yeah, I mean, look this up. It's just the most heartbreaking thing in the whole goddamn world. And it really just sort of, I mean, seeing that, the destruction of, I mean, I think it's something along the lines of 25% of all music albums throughout history. It's huge. The amount of the destruction of, I think they did that. I personally, this is my own belief, so I don't have any evidence or anything like that, obviously, but I get just this sinking feeling, an intuition feeling that they did it on purpose. Like the meaning of what they're trying to do is to destroy our humanity. I mean, they've immersed us in a world that's virtually a fairy tale. It's so full of lies everywhere that we turn, obfuscations and indoctrination that's made to look like entertainment, and a bunch of phonies and everything, where it's completely manipulated and scripted our lives, everything like that. And I think it's really what's at the center of it isn't it's greed or anything like that. I think it's that they're playing God. I think that what they're doing is they're playing Satan. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know any, high level questions and, primordial ooze from which we sprung forth from, or big bangs, or whatever. But what I can say is that in the absence of any objective truth in our lives and in the world around us, you can't really make choices because you're just choosing between lies. So, I mean, it's an ill-informed choice. It's not really a choice at all. It's a impulse mechanism. And so, lied about by religion, lied about from our cultural edifices, we're lied about from our politicians, our education, our news media, everything. Lie, lie, lie after lie. And that means that at the end of the day, when we're trying to choose between what is right and wrong in our world, or what's right and wrong for us personally, or any of the type of things, we're choosing based on lies. And if you're choosing based on lies, it's no choice at all. In fact, without that choice, we don't have free will. And without free will, are we really human? Are we human? Are we not men? We are, Devo. But the fact is that, in the absence of free will is the one thing that separates us from the beasts. Even if you, I don't know, stuff like, supposedly the angels got pissed off because, God chose to give free will, a free choice to human beings, and didn't give it to the angels who served him, and so on and so forth. And that's part of the schism that's going on. I don't know any of this stuff, man. It's just stuff that I hear when I'm sort of hanging out of the Turkish baths, looking to get my undercarriage waxed by a caring and considerate fellow human being. But the whole idea, I think, is relevant and true. That in the absence of free will, we are not human anymore. And I think that's what this is really all about. I think that's what all this lies and garbage and greed and monopolization of the informational distribution components of our society is really all about, because they don't want to let a single drip of truth through that might cause people to be curious, that might cause people to be free thinking, might cause people to be independent minded, and not sit around and just let the bullshit come to them. They might go after, try to find their own answers and their own objective truth and do their own fact checking on their own. And then the whole system would fall apart and collapse in on itself because it can't take that type of pressure. I mean, why would they be limiting the amount of people who can view my thing? I'm just a washout nobody. A washout nobody, and I have, out of the last 10, 15, whatever shows, they have 0 views. And before, when I was originally doing it, a couple months, a month and a half ago or whatever, I was getting okay views. I had 230 views within the first 4 weeks without even promoting it. And then all of a sudden, nothing for weeks. Somebody started to see the stuff. They put the red flag up. It's happened to me before. I've been doing this type of thing for 30 freaking years. Everywhere I go, everywhere I turn, blocked. It's like I'm living in an electronic jail. And it has been for decades. And yet I still keep trying to break out and fighting for us to be able to, for once, be able to embrace our own birthrights and have equity for all, and, instead of justice for a few. Man. All right, so the number one of the top 10 worst things that are better than the song Brown Eyed Girl. Everything. Everything is better than Brown Eyed Girl is the worst thing, the worst single thing ever been created. Well, what a pleasure it's been to be able to be here. I'm so excited that I was able to live long enough to be able to bring you this wonderfully enlightening bit of nonsense. Or by you, I mean one person that might be allowed to see this. And what a pleasure. I want to remind everybody of everything I said. Everybody. Wow. I think I'm the one who's delusional. I'm the one who doesn't have any free will left anymore after a statement like that. Everything I've said here is opinions only. For those of you who might have broken through the gatekeepers, barriers, and stuff, everything I've said here is opinions only. I'm not citing footnotes on all the various different things that I have drawn upon throughout my life to justify all these assertions that I've made. I'm just telling it like I've seen it in my life. I don't care. I've got nothing to win. I've nothing to lose. No skin in the game anymore. I'm done. Toast. End of story. So anyway, what a pleasure. What an honor. And don't forget to smash the freaking like button. Smash the goddamn freaking like button, you freak. And what a pleasure it's been. So thanks for tuning in and everything like that. I'll see you next time. Probably not. But, dare to dream.